welcome back to Jim's Garage Toys. And today I thought I would do a little video about my journey to getting my GR Corolla. I've had quite a few different people ask about it and kind of what inspired me, I guess, to get it, and why did I want it, what other things did I try, and what other things did I drive, and you know, just kind of everything that led up to the day that I ended up getting the Corolla, because I did put a lot of thought into it, and I did drive other cars and wanted to see what I thought of some of those. So anyway, with this, I figured I would just try to kind of go through what my thought processes were, what was happening at the time, and I think this would be too long if I tried to incorporate me test driving all the other cars also. So, and giving my thoughts on all those. So there might be a little bit in this with that, but I will do something separate for that because I have been asked about that in depth. So anyway, with this, I'll try to just talk about where I started, why I wanted it, what was going to be my next car, why I was excited about the GR Corolla, and kind of go from there. So if you'd like to sit back for a short time and listen to my journey, I welcome you. I would appreciate any comments or questions or anything like that at the end. I do try to answer all those questions, and with that, let's go ahead and get started. Before that though, if you like some of my content and whatnot, I sure would appreciate you liking and subscribing and helping me grow my channel. You know, just like everybody says, everybody wants to do it, but I do appreciate it. And like I said, I try to reach out and touch base with people that do comment and you know, kind of inspire some different types of talks and discussions. So with that being said, let's go ahead and talk about my journey. So this all, for me, this all started back in around 2015. I started looking pretty hard at buying a Subaru WRX or an STI. I really wanted something that was all-wheel drive, that I could get with a manual transmission, and something in the 250 plus horsepower range. Now, that being said, there wasn't a lot available on the market, and the Subaru WRX and STI were really kind of the go-to car for that. I was a little concerned with the Subaru issues that I would hear about a lot. Subaru is one car I never have owned, but I have known quite a few people that have them, and while they liked the car, there were plenty of things that they didn't like about it and they had problems with, and we've all heard all of the head gasket issues with Subarus and other things about them. So ultimately, even though I ended up test driving it several times and came very close to getting one, I decided to wait. And at that time, I ended up turbocharging my 2009 Corolla S. So it gave me most of what I wanted. It did not give me all-wheel drive, of course, but for 8 pounds of boost I was running, it was close. It was about 230 horsepower. I could turn up the boost if I wanted to get over that hump, but the car really did everything I wanted it to with that power. So that kind of soothed my appetite, and life went on. Well, what happens a few years later? COVID hits. I started seeing things about the Toyota GR Yaris, which everybody in the whole world wanted. Well, those of us in North America, we weren't so lucky. So even though I drooled over the car from afar, watching every video I could and getting very excited about the car. I'm not gonna lie, I wanted one of those so bad. I was trying to think of a way, how could I get one into the US? Was there any loophole, any possible way that I could get one of those cars? So time goes on a little while, and just like most of you know, there were hints and little subtle clues that Toyota started to drop that something might be coming our way. Now, it made perfect sense that it was going to be the Corolla hatchback, because the GR Yaris, the back half of that car underneath, is the Corolla. So it made it nice and simple to drop the whole drivetrain right into it. And it also kept their cost, Toyota's cost, very low, because they didn't have to go back and bring the Yaris, which wasn't sold in the United States at the time, the Toyota built Yaris. The Yaris that was being sold was the rebadged Mazda 2. So you would have to go through all of the hundreds of millions of dollars that it would have cost to get the Yaris chassis and safety and everything else that they go through being recertified. So that was a problem. So the Corolla made perfect sense of what might be coming our way. And that was okay. I liked the idea of the two-door Yaris more, because 99% of the time I'm the only one in this car. So I didn't really need a four-door, but four doors don't bother me. You know, in tight spaces, the doors are shorter, it's easier to open them and whatnot. So I thought, who cares? The Corolla hatchback was a decent looking car. Not sure what it was going to be as a GR, but I figured it would look good. So I bid my time, as others did, and kept getting little clues. So during this time, and I had already done it a couple of times, I would go to car dealers and look at cars and sit them and drive them and whatnot. So it made it a lot tougher, obviously, with COVID. But as 2022 went along and COVID seemed to be improving, and Toyota had officially announced the GR Corolla was coming, I went and made sure that I got my name on lists for multiple dealers that were selling at MSRP. I had no idea what was going to be available or how hard it was going to be to get one. Now, my first choice was a heavy metal circuit edition when they made the announcements on the initial press release, and when they drove the cars up on the stage, and that was all cool. And I've always liked gray and silver cars, and so I went right to that. That was what I wanted. Now, I knew that at the same time, there's only going to be 1,500 of these. So thinking back through all these different cars that I drove, hadn't had a chance to drive a Corolla yet because they hadn't started shipping. So none of these cars gave me that aha moment, that wow, I gotta have this. They were all nice. They all had pluses. They all had minuses for me in my world. So as time went on, so let's kind of go through waiting for the Corollas to start shipping. So it was early April, March 31st, I think it was, that actually Toyota announced the GR Corolla officially. So we knew that they would be shipping and arriving, or start arriving, at the end of the year. So we had plenty of time. Kept working my contacts, and at this point I was pretty confident that I could get a core model at least for MSRP, and I told myself if I could get a loaded core, I would be fine with it, because it's mechanically identical to the Circuit Edition, even though I really wanted that heavy metal. So the core model came in white, red, and black, and that was the order of the colors that I wanted. white, red, and then black, not knowing or having any clue of what dealer would get what. If it didn't have the performance package, I would pass. But as long as it had the performance package, then I would think about it. If it was a loaded core, then I would take it regardless of color, because mechanically it's the same, and bottom line is I could always wrap it if I didn't like the color. So time goes on, I continue to play with and drive other cars, go to car meets, Cars and Coffee and things like that, and see some of these other cars. Now at this point in time, you know, the Civic, the Elantra, and the Golf R were all more money. Every one of the dealers in my areas were charging more money for that car. The WRX could be had for MSRP, and the soon-to-come GR Corolla just depended on the dealer. There were supposedly ones going to sell it for MSRP, and there were ones that were going to charge, you know, $5,000, $10,000, up to $20,000 more for it. So time goes on. I get a call in January of 23, earlier this year, from a dealer that says that he might have a GR Corolla for me, and he would know in about 30 minutes. I was like, oh, wow, okay. Well, needless to say, I was excited because I wasn't expecting to get one until, you know, May, June, somewhere in that area is what I was hoping for. So at this point, though, I had seen all three, or I had seen a white one a few days before that, and I saw a red one a few days later. Hadn't seen the black. I love white cars, always have, but the white on the GR, at least on the core, you know, it was okay. It looked nice. When I saw a red one, I actually liked the red more than the white on it. And so when I spoke to this general manager, he said he'd let me know in half an hour. He calls me back a half an hour later, and he says, hey, I've got one and it's yours if you want it. I said, okay, what is it, first of all? He says it's a black core, it's loaded with all three packages, and it's at MSRP for you. And I was like, sweet. And I said, how far out is it? Where is it? Has it even shipped from Japan yet? And he goes, no, it's here. I was like, what? So he says, yeah, how soon can you be here? Well, needless to say, 20 minutes later, I was there. And when I went around the corner and saw the black one, it took my breath away. I've never been a huge black car guy, even though they look okay. But I'll tell you, on the GR Corolla, this thing looked sinister. It looked so aggressive. I absolutely loved it, how it looked. So I was pretty excited. Got it for MSRP, and I got to take it for a drive beforehand. And this drive was much different. I literally got out of this car going, wow, this is awesome. I love the way it felt, love the way it handled. And I know I'm the exception to the rule, but I love cloth seats. I prefer cloth seats. And they last, they hold up, they look great. My 2009 Corolla's cloth seats still look brand new after 15 years. So I preferred that. And when I'm driving, I'm not gonna lie, my butt through my pants can't tell what the fabric is. I can't tell that it's cloth or Alcantara. So I didn't care about that. I cared that I was buying and getting for my money an all-wheel drive system, which a Civic Type R didn't have. And by the time I finished driving everything, really the Civic, just the car-wise, would have been the only other thing I probably ended up really, I mean, it was my second choice, but it didn't have all-wheel drive. So that was a big negative to me for our Four Seasons. So that was kind of my experience leading me up to the Corolla. I love the shifter feel of the Corolla. It wasn't as buttery as the Civic, but it had a mechanical feel to it and a little notchiness to it that I really liked. It was very engaging in that sense. And it's a different feel. You know, a lot of people say the Civics is the best. They're different, but I liked it. So there was really nothing I didn't like about the car on that initial drive. Initially seeing it, laying my eyes on it for the first time, it was amazing. It looks so good. It was just crazy good. Love the lines of it. Love the aggressive looks of it. Love the view from the back. The back view with how wide it is just is so cool to me. So anyway, that's how I got mine. It was supposed to go to an employee at the dealership, but the sales manager fought for me to get it because I was the one that told them about it. So, you know, making those early contacts worked out. Now, in hindsight, if I had waited, I could have gotten a heavy metal circuit edition. I don't regret that decision now because, like I said, the car is mechanically the same. And when I started seeing the circuit show up, I was less enthusiastic about the carbon fiber roof. And the bulge hood was just so-so to me. I didn't mind the bulge hood as much as I didn't like the vents. I didn't like how the vents are raised up. If they were more flush with the hood, I think that would look so much better. And a rear spoiler was easy enough. You know, a lot of people have added the rear spoiler. And if they like the CE hood, then they could add the hood. So we did not get a black circuit edition in the United States like Canada did, but that's okay. I'm absolutely in love with my core, and the black looks so good. And for all of you that think black is so hard to take care of and can't stay clean or anything like that, this is not 1980 anymore. This is 2023. We have options. Get the PPF done on it, get ceramic coating done on it. I did my own paint correction. I had the PPF installed, and then I did 2 layers of ceramic coating on it. And I want to tell you, the other day I drove it through rain and snow and all kinds of other stuff, and it wasn't clean before that. It's not like I just washed it. And I got home and I was looking at the car in the garage right behind me here, and I was like, this doesn't even look very dirty. Ceramic coating is amazing, guys. If you have a good ceramic coating, the dirt and debris doesn't cling to it like it does if it's not ceramic coated. So it stays looking cleaner. I can look at it right now, and the right rear door is right here next to me, and I'm looking down where this arches out for the rear wheel. It just doesn't look that bad. It looks pretty dang good. You would never know I've driven this many hundreds of miles in rain and snow, and it looks great. My winter wheels, I ceramic coated them. They're gunmetal instead of the OEM black ones. Well, they don't show the brake dust like the OEM ones do, and because they're ceramic coated, especially driving through the rain and the snow, all that moisture helps keep them cleaner. So they look fantastic. You would swear I just washed the wheels. They look amazing. So, you know, embrace what is available, even no matter what color you have. I do all this stuff, but black especially, and even the heavy metal, it can show plenty of dirt. And you might not notice it when it's wet, but when it dries, it's dry now, incredible, absolutely incredible. So anyway, I've had a lot of people ask me about why I bought the GR Corolla. Why'd you buy the GR Corolla and not a Civic Type R? Everybody's darling is the Civic Type R. It's such an amazing car on the track. I care less about the track. I've taken cars to the track. Yeah, it's fun, but I get bored with it. It's the same thing over and over. Now, maybe if I had a really great track closer to me, that could be a difference. but I don't. You know, Portland International Raceway is the closest track to me, and that's terrible in my opinion, very boring. So if we had the Nuremberg ring here like people in Germany have, and I could just go pay whatever it is, 20 bucks or whatever it is, and take a rip on it, that'd be cool. That'd be a lot of fun, but don't have that option. What I do have an option is hundreds, if not thousands of miles of two-lane back roads weaving in and out of all the mountains and hills up here in Oregon and Washington. And they are just fantastic roads. That's what I love. That's more fun to me. It's not the same thing going in a loop around and around and around. It's the road's always changing. The road surface isn't perfect. It's picking that great line. You know what? This beast right here is the best tool for that job. I mean, it's just fantastic. Even in stock form, it's so good. The suspension is really good. I don't find the suspension harsh. I mean, it's stiff, but it's not harsh or uncomfortable in any way. So some people have complained about that. I don't find it to be the case at all. The seats are fantastic, very, very comfortable. And as I said before, I like the cloth. I prefer the cloth. I actually went and looked at a premium heavy metal, and it didn't do anything for me with the different seats in that. Well, the seats are the same, but the fabric. And so, you know, I know that I made the right decision. I got this loaded core for less than $40,000. A lot of people paid a lot more for their cores, but I didn't. I got it for MSRP, no dealer add-ons, no dealer tricks or ploys or anything like that. Fantastic. If you live in the Pacific Northwest, it's a great place to buy a car. I bought this from Vancouver Toyota in Vancouver, Washington. That's Vancouver, Washington, USA, not BC. So, you know, yeah, if you live in Oregon or Washington, feel free to reach out to them. They are an MSRP dealer. They sell all new cars for MSRP. So trucks, cars, whatever, it doesn't matter how rare it is, they sell it for MSRP. I love the car, love it. Every time I drive it, I got a big grin on my face. My cheeks hurt from smiling so much when I'm ripping through the gears on it. And so that's when you know you made the right decision. You know, when you make the right decision and you smile and you look forward to it and the experience of it and just the way you interact with the car and the shifter and the pedals. And are there some things I would change about the car? Sure. They didn't ask me in the development of it what I would like. So there's always going to be things that each one of us prefers that would be a little different. Some things can be handled easily. I've done some of those changes already, like an armrest. But hey, couldn't be happier. So anyways, I guess I could ramble about it forever. So, but I appreciate you guys coming along. Please, if you have any questions or comments for me about the decisions that I made, I realize this isn't going to be for everybody. Maybe somebody wants the fastest track car in this type of car. But the track life is, if I do it, it's a very small part of what this car can do. So anyway, you know, please reach out, comment, ask me questions. I'd sure appreciate it if you guys would hit the like button and subscribe, help me grow the channel more. And until then, we'll see you down the road. Thank you much.